Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today, we're gonna be pilfering a video. Yeah, Dallas over at Chaos Fragrances did this first. Shout out to Dallas. Check his channel out in case you haven't. We're tackling designer fragrances. Crush niche. That's right, some designer fragrances that pack a wallop, that pack a punch. Fragrances that oftentimes even the staunchest of niche allies will say, yeah, that one's pretty good, I guess. Now, I myself don't really have a horse in this race. I love niche fragrances. I love designer fragrances. I know that some people love to crap on everything designer under the sun, but today that's what we're doing. We're checking out some fragrances that people generally can actually afford that can still hold a candle to those artistic niche scents. So let's jump into it. Let's check these out. Now, these are going to be linked in the description below in case you do want to check them out. And also, if you use the code GENTS10 at twistedlily.com or maxaroma.com, guess what? You'll save 10% off your order. And even though it's 2023, you can use the code GENTS2022 for 10% off your order at luckyscent.com. So if you do want to go and spend some money on those niche fragrances, at least save a little bit of money. 10% on some of those orders is enough that you could buy a whole other fragrance. All right, let's jump into it, friends. And we're going to do it in the only way that I know how. Anytime that you want to talk about a designer fragrance that can roll against niche, I'm going to pull this scent out because it's one of my favorites of all time. And it is this guy, Dior Homme Intense. Now, of course, Dior Homme Intense, this is like the granddaddy, the poppy of iris-based designer fragrances for men, whereas that fantastic smelling, creamy, warm, sweet, rich iris that some people will compare to the smell of lipstick or makeup. A little bit powdery, but not overly so, at least not according to me. It is definitely more of a fall and wintertime fragrance. It's more of a formal scent as well, but because I like it so much, I'll wear it whenever. I mean, I will wear this stuff around the house in my pajamas just because I love how it smells. You've also got ambrette, cedar, and lavender in here. Great performance, Dior Homme Intense, a great scent. After that, we're going with an Issey Miyake, and the fragrance we're going with is this one, L'Odyssée or Encens. Ooh, yeah, this stuff is really good. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of Issey Miyake fragrances that could make this list. Pulse of the Night, yeah. Noir Argent, yeah. Noir Ombre, yeah. And this one. And sorry if my voice sounds a little bit off. I've got kind of a head cold. I feel fine other than that, but yeah, it's making my voice a little weird. Rose, incense, leather, and labdanum, some of the notes in the fragrance. It is, once again, a very high quality fragrance. It's rich, it's deep, extremely classy, and a great kind of under the radar fragrance. Now you may be thinking to yourself, oh, it's not really that under the radar. Well, for your average person, definitely is. This is more the type of scent that fragrance people know about and nobody else really does, because A, it's not easy to find, B, it's an Issey Miyake like limited edition wintertime fragrance. So yeah, you, my friend, may know about it, but your buddy Brandon, he probably doesn't. The next fragrance gracing this list, L'Envol de Cartier. This is the Eau de Parfum, and I do complain about this all the time. The bottle looks fantastic, but I do kind of hate it. So if I were buying this new nowadays, I would get the other bottle style that looks more normal, like this. Yes, that one. I don't have it, but editing. Now this bottle style does have some stuff going for it. It looks very classy, very unique. It's like a cloche, a glass cloche placed over the bottle, which kind of hangs freely on the inside, but the glass is quite thin. And I think that the brand must have realized at some point, maybe it's not the greatest idea because they did go away from this bottle style to the new one. But this is refillable. You can unscrew that and the bottle comes out and you can pop a new one in. The atomizer built into the top. So, I mean, it's cool, but I'm always afraid I'm gonna chip the glass here or something and then just have basically a friggin' knife over the inside of the bottle. So this has iris in it, also has gaiac wood, little touch of smokiness from that, and iris. Extremely classy, sweet, but sweet in a way that's decadent. You know, it's not like a sugary sweet. Extremely well done, and another one that flies under the radar a little bit. Now, the next one does not fly under the radar. This is quite popular. One of the most popular fragrances, especially when you look at the cost as far as designers goes, at retail stores, and it's from Tom Ford. It is ombre leather. Now, ombre leather, of course, was originally part of the private blend line, and it was called ombre leather 16. Then they released it here in the signature collection, and the price went down a little bit, but the fragrance remained ombre leather. This has leather, jasmine, amber, and cardamom as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's an extremely wearable leather. Very smooth, nothing harsh here, nothing animalic, nothing funky, nothing weird. So it has that easygoing nature. It has that wearability, that compliment factor, and that is one of the reasons it sells so well. But then it has that typical Tom Ford quality. So if you are looking for a very wearable, very high-end, classy leather scent, this is one of the absolute best choices on the entire market. Now, it's really easy, or easier, I should say, to go with wintertime fragrances, fall and wintertime scents. And that's already reflected in the 4 that I've talked to you about so far in this list. Because very often when you think of something that's high quality or show-stopping or whatever, you tend to gravitate more toward those powerhouse fragrances, those scents that are rich and deep and warm and spicy and all those other things that you associate with cool weather, at least as far as fragrances goes. So yes, this list is definitely heavier on that type of scent, but I did make sure to put in at least a couple for warm weather, and this one is one of those. And it's from Dolce & Gabbana. It is Light Blue Forever. I'm a sucker for Light Blue Forever. I like it. That's my jam. It's the citrus in here that I like so much, which when you're talking light blue fragrances is typically what's going to make it or break it for you anyway. So it's just kind of obvious, I guess. Now, I've spoken on this before, but in case you weren't around for one of those videos, light blue has a bunch of flankers. They come out with them every summer, a new release. And a lot of those are good, but maybe not great. They're just kind of somewhere along the periphery of all the other things that came out that year. They very often have citrus, and that's very often a focal point of the fragrance. Enter Light Blue Forever. This stuff with grapefruit and bergamot in the opening just arrests me right away. It gets my attention. You know, it's something that I smelled it and immediately was like, oh, and I ended up wearing the heck out of the stuff. It has very much a rindy opening. And then as it dries down, you get a little woodiness. It's clean the whole way through. I think it smells great. Next fragrance here is just a great little cheapie. You know, it's one of those fragrances that anytime you talk about bang for your buck, you talk about niche quality for cheap, this comes up, or one of its brothers. And it is from Lalique. I almost chucked the bottle just now, but we recovered. It is Encre Noir All Extreme. Vetiver, cypress, incense, benzoin, some of the notes in the fragrance. Like I said, you could also go with the original Encre Noir or even Encre Noir Sport here. For the price, stuff is great. This is a little bit more forward with the resins than the original Encre Noir. And for some people, that makes it more wearable. Other people prefer the original Encre Noir. It still does have that dark woodiness. Some people would describe it as a rootiness to it. Some people have bought Encre Noir over the years because it is hyped as being an amazing cheapie. They get it in, they spray it on, and they think to themselves, when am I gonna wear this? I can't wear this to the office, which actually you can. I did that before and it worked well. And I think it's a great buy. It doesn't work for everybody. Let's follow that one up with this one, Man in Black from Bulgari. This frag right here used to be so much easier to find for cheap at discounters. It's slowly gotten more expensive over the years. Inflation. This does smell a little bit similar to Spice Bomb from Viktor and Rolf, but the changes added to Man in Black elevate it a little bit, this booziness that it has, and I'm a sucker for that, man. You throw a nice, sweet, warm, boozy note into a fragrance, as long as it's pulled off well, I'm generally gonna like that. And the way it's done here is very good. So it does have rum, but that's not all it has. It's also got a good amount of spice in here. It's got leather, tobacco, iris, tonka, a lot of stuff going on. Wonderful scent. And I'm actually kind of bummed that Bulgari has gone away from the Man in Black line. Now, maybe it didn't sell up to their expectations or whatever, but there were flankers that came out after this, part of the Man in Black line, stuff like Black Orient, that were great. Like, I think Black Orient, even better than this. Well, good luck finding it. And now they've gone more toward what they're doing currently with their different essence fragrances. Terra Essence, Glacial Essence, stuff like that. All right, next one is an expensive one, but it is still worth mentioning. It's from Gucci, and it's Intense Oud. Yes, Intense Oud. Yeah, you gotta have an oud fragrance in there. If you're doing anything that's, you know, niche or versus niche or anything like that, oud. Intense Oud is very, very nice, but as I said, it is very expensive also. And Gucci, for what it's worth, is a brand that even at discounters, with stuff like Gucci Guilty, it ain't cheap. Gucci doesn't typically get discounted all that much. It's maybe not held in as high regard as something like Dior or Yves Saint Laurent, but a lot of times their fragrances, at least what you can get them for, are more in line with those houses than some of the more affordable ones from discounters, things like Versace or Zara or Hugo Boss or something. But in spite of all that, Intense Oud is actually worth the price that you pay to get the stuff. It lasts forever, it projects heavily, the quality is immediately apparent here. It has some similarities to Black Afgano by Nasamato, a little bit between the two though. This one's probably more wearable. Incense, olibanum, and additional woods. Some of the notes in the scent along with the oud in the name. And even if you're a hater of Gucci fragrances, this is worth checking out. We are getting close to the end. Let's go ahead and pop out the other warm weather scent here. It's from Chanel, and it is Allure Homme Edition Blanche. This fragrance really well known for smelling similar to a lemon meringue pie. And it does kind of have that vibe. And that is because of the lemon and the vanilla in the scent. Those being the most prominent notes here. There's also sandalwood, so it has a nice kind of creaminess even to the citrus. It isn't just lemon though in the opening, there's also bergamot, so a really nice citrus top to the scent. This stuff smells very appealing. And it's an interesting scent because it is a citrus forward, fresh fragrance made for spring and summertime and early fall. But because of that lemon meringue pie vibe that it has, it's got like kind of a gourmand flair. This one has been heavily hyped in the fragrance community over the years, and for good reason. And last but not least, we started with Dior. We will end with Dior with this guy, Sauvage Elixir. I mean, what can I say about Sauvage Elixir? This stuff came out with a blast. Just immediately people were enthralled by the fragrance. Some people hated it. Some people absolutely in love with it. It is not at all what I expected. When I smelled this, it was like way out of left field because you're expecting something Sauvage. I mean, it's in the name, Sauvage Elixir. So you're expecting something that's maybe just a further evolution of what they did with Sauvage Parfum or something. And then no, you get this. Gentlemanly, grown up, robust, powerful, with a little bit of a throwback flair to it, you know, bits and pieces of the 80s sprinkled into a modern fragrance. It's awesome. It has cinnamon, lavender, nutmeg, licorice, and woods as some of the notes in the fragrance. And Sauvage Elixir, for sure, can go toe to toe with some of the other gentlemanly niche fragrances out there. Now, to wrap this up, as I said earlier, of course, I got nothing against niche and indie fragrances. I've got hundreds upon hundreds of them behind the camera here and scattered throughout the collection. And I think obviously that there are fantastic niche fragrances that come out every single year, every month. But at the same time, there are also fantastic designer fragrances that come out just as often. So for me anyway, I like to just kind of keep my mind open and check out whatever I want to check out. I really don't care if it's designer, niche, or whatever. But I wanted to pilfer this video, and I have. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, shout out to Dallas. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.